They are talking about the employability skills of our engineering students, employability skills of our. So today you see the due to the post COVID-19 and most of the medicos they are able to do practicals staying at home. They don't have any practical exposure, but the concept of holistic education provides an opportunity to connect experience with meaning, experience with expression. That is these are the goals of holistic education, my friends. And this the concept of holistic education or multidisciplinary education, and it will have different views about learner, about learning, about teacher, about materials. Only four major important aspects. This the concept of the document and indirectly talks about and having changes. The changes have to be brought in our mindset of the teachers, mindset of the learners, mindset of textbooks or materials. See, and it is not required to only to focus on the materials that are prescribed. No, today you see we'll be able to give a lot of stuff from different materials and material that are suggested by certain boards, certain committees, which is not going to be used only. That is not the only material that we need to adapt to bring out multidisciplinary education. We need to draw inputs from different fields apart from focusing on the major field. That's what. So this holistic approach will have a number of beliefs, views, philosophical views, psychological views, educational psychological views, my friends. So it believes that learning is open. Learning should happen in relaxed atmosphere. Learning should be always learner centered. Learner centered. Learner should have opportunities to select their own. Today, you see mechanical engineering. So today there are the combinations of mechanical engineering and electronic engineering, where students are able to combine the two, and they are studying today. And you see, students are able to study computer and statistics, computational statistics, or mathematical statistics today. So previously, you see only one field of knowledge was focused, but today you can combine two, three, four. And in the students of statistics, they are able to combine mathematics and computer science. So that's what it believes, that learning is open. Learning happens in relaxed atmosphere. They can finish in 1 year or 2 years or 3 years or 4 years. If they go out before they finish their degree in 4 years, they can be given a certificate, they can be given a diploma, they can be given a degree, and they'll be given something. These are very wonderful reforms that are brought by the Indian government as a part of NEP 2020. So you could find a number of dropouts before 2020, but you will find a number of dropouts today in NITs, IITs, IIMs today. Once you really implement National New Education Policy 2020. That's what. Next, you see learner, and the learner is a collaborator. Learner is an active participant. Learner's background, learner's previous background, because he selects mechanical engineering, but he shows certain interest towards computer science or mechanical or some other field, and he should be allowed to do and those courses in open distance learning. So that is also another recommendation that is provided through this holistic education and in this document. So learning becomes open, learner centered. Learning becomes fun. Very, very important. See, my friends. So NEP, once we observe, and NEP 2020 makes learning an enjoyable kind of activity. And learning becomes enjoyable, then indirectly, we have achieved multidisciplinary approach to education, and it is not a kind of tensed where we need to read something, where we need to produce the exam. Number of project works that are being given to the students, a number of problem solving activities, a number of assignments are being given, and a number of discussions, debates, collaborative kind of activities like mock interviews or collaborative tasks like debates we are conducting, and a number of other activities, not just producing the information that they learn from the books. That is what holistic education provides, an opportunity to make learning fun, learning a kind of enjoyable kind of activity. It promotes curiosity. See, you see, no tension, because most of the engineering students, most of the medicos, Most of the students today, once we observe, they show a lot of curiosity when they join. Today, we conduct a number of programs to the new students. And so the concept of holistic education, which would create curiosity among the students to learn something, not just one thing, to integrate two, three, four fields into one particular aspect, and to promote creativity. Today, you see, and the kind of creativity that we can talk about, that we are witnessing next, and promotes communicative and soft skills. So, holistic education also believes that we need to promote communicative skills and soft skills, and so that students will have whole development, whole language development, and all round development of the child, and the three, and cognitive development, affective and psychomotor development of the child. Not so. And according to one survey is that is conducted by ACNL, said students have a lot of psychomotor growth. They are technically fit, but they don't have moral development. And as a result of that, they have certain tensions after they finish their graduation or post graduation. So this the concept of multidisciplinary approach, which is brought by NEP 2020, would reduce those problems in future. Next, friends, once we observe, and what are the major important salient features that are discussed by National Education Policy, New Education Policy 2020, and it talks about, and Bhanabhatta's Kadambara, 64 kalas. So it believes that you should be able to combine three, four. Today, you see most of the learners, they are able to make three, four activities together, and this has to bring out from the learners according to the document. It believes that, and from our scriptures, four Vidyas, four Vedas, four Upavedas, six Vedangas, all these talk about the process of integrating, having multidisciplinary kind of education, having holistic kind of education. For what? Because we need to integrate them. So there's Banabhatta who says that all arts have distinctly Indian origin. Yes. So the new document indirectly provides opportunities to the Indian institutions, Indian educationists, to bring out our ancient education, to modernize our students. Next, it brings out different fields together in the process of solving the problems of one particular field, like a good knowledge as knowledge. So when you bring out the alternate subjects or scientific subjects or vocational fields or professional fields, so the process of bringing all these aspects together to solve something, to solve a problem, that is the major motto which is being in place from Vedas. And all these fields must be brought back to Indian education, required for the 21st century. Yes, to lead our life happily today in the modern world in the 21st century. And we are coming across new viruses, new tensions as knowledge grows, and new tensions, new viruses are coming out. To solve all these, what is required? Not just focusing only one field. You need to have the knowledge of different fields. That is what the document says. So to achieve this, what is required? We need to follow multidisciplinary approaches, holistic approaches in terms of learning, in terms of teaching, in terms of materials. Okay, so our materials to be multidisciplinary in nature. Today, you see, there are many multi-revolutionary decisions made by the Indian institutions, and engineering is going to be in learner's mother tongue, and textbooks are going to be, engineering books are going to be in learner's mother tongue. It's a very good sign. And NEET examination, which is being conducted today in more than nearly 20 languages, I think so, once you observe. So all these are the measures that are coming out to bring out multidisciplinary education, holistic education. What is learning? What is very important today? And to the for the 21st century learners, having and meaning and experience, these are very important. And meaning and experience, expression and experience, these are very important for multidisciplinary and holistic education. Next, my friends, and it also to promote multidisciplinary education, to have holistic education in our Indian curriculum in across different institutions of NITs, IITs, or IIMs or central universities. And it also talks about assessments of educational approaches. Not just only assessment, we need to also focus on teaching learning approaches. These are also very important. Once you follow this holistic approaches to learning, holistic approaches to teaching, multidisciplinary approaches to learning, teaching, then it is very easy to follow certain changes in assessment system. So to bring out this holistic development of the child, for promoting cognitive growth, affective growth, psychomotor growth, to promote and higher order thinking skills, and it suggests a number of approaches like and your approach. See, to the students of UG and PG, what is required? We need to promote research attitude to the students. And in UG education, integration of humanities, there is a requirement for integration of different fields, not one, two, three, four. Means we need to correlate, combine, collaborate three, four fields. Students of mechanical engineering, they should be given two or three projects in electronic engineering or computer science engineering. So that this is going to be multidisciplinary kind of approach. Indirectly, they will be able to make connections. So you see, already it is in place. Next, and the process of integrating science, the process of integrating arts, and engineering and mathematics showed positive learning outcomes. We've been talking about from years and from since 1850 or 19th century and the beginning of 20th century. There are many wonderful things that are coming out due to the combination of this engineering and mathematics. There are many innovative changes, and in the same way, there is a requirement for combination of arts and sciences, combination of arts and technology, combination of science and technology, combination of multi fields together. That is the goal. And these types of assessment educational approaches are to be brought to bring out holistic education, to bring out multidisciplinary education. So different what kind of tools, assessment tools are very important. What kind of projects are to be given? What kind of self-assessment tools are to be brought out? And what kind of materials are to be brought to bring out different changes in assessment system in order to have holistic, in order to have multidisciplinary education, and we need to think of, we need to promote, and in order to achieve the objectives that are suggested by NEP 2020. Next, this is also very important, including increased creativity and innovation. So there is a requirement for we need to create, we need to promote, increase creativity in our subjects and innovation in our subject. Next, critical thinking, HOTS, higher order thinking skills, problem solving abilities. These are very important. These are required to and 21st century learner according to the new document, and communicative skills because you still you can find a lot. Still, my friends, and nearly and 40 to 30 to 40% of this engineering students or technological students, they are lagging behind in terms of communication. So this has to be and this has to bring down. Next, increasing social awareness. You can find a lot of intellectuals. They are going out. You can see most of the IITs and NIT and educated students with BTech or MTech or and MSc or MCA or MBA. After finishing their master degrees, they are going out of India, and they are not because they don't have social awareness. And some of them are lacking social awareness, moral awareness toward the country. So, apart from teaching, and we should also cultivate respect to our culture, respect to our tradition, respect to our society, respect to our constitution, respect to our Indian scripts, respect to our Indian heritage. These are to be brought out. So these courses, certain programs, certain projects are to be given to the students of engineering, to the technical students, and the courses that are offered to arts are to be incorporated in to the students of technology. So that what will happen, there will be moral development, ethical development, and emotional development, so that their contribution will be very useful to their own country. So India, which will become a overpower country. Next, and it also talks about what are the major goals and how you need to bring out these aspects and holistic and multidisciplinary education. Mainly, this the document NEP talks about the concept of holistic and multidisciplinary approach to education only with regard to UG and PG. So these approaches are not to be discussed. Maybe these are to be spoken about at the school level, but these are very essential to the students of UG, to the faculty of UG, to the faculty of PG institutions, and in Indian context. And it says there is an urgent need for promoting this holistic education in Indian context. Why? For having to prepare our students, to prepare our learners, global learners, globally equipped learners. Next, to develop all capacities of human beings. So, students will be all-rounded. Multi-dimensional capabilities will be improved through this. That's what. So, we need to think. It's a time for us. It's a need of the hour for us to think about how can we promote and how can we develop capacities of human beings through our humanistic and multidisciplinary education system. What kind of and how can we change our education system? How can we modify our teaching styles? And how can we make our learners? How can we change the mindset of our learners? And what kind of materials and innovative, creative materials are to be brought to achieve this? That we need to think, we need to design, and we need to modify the present materials so that the aims of this holistic and multidisciplinary education would be achieved easily. And friends, and it also talks about intellectual development of the child, aesthetic development. So we need to appreciate the nature, appreciate the beauty, appreciate the traditions, appreciate our culture. So students are lagging behind these aspects, and we need to promote that. Next, social development, physical development, emotional development, and moral development, where we'll be able to combine all these aspects. And to promote critical 21st century capacities in wide variety of fields. Not you can see students in engineering today you can find in the different multi disciplinary fields like in movies, in theater art, or in music, or in sports. So like that we need to cultivate and we'll bring out that. For an ethic of social engagement, yes, it's very important. We need to. So today you see a lot of MTech, BTech students of IIT and NIT. They are coming out. They're engaging, helping different on Saturday and Sunday. They started helping the people and orphanages, old age homes. So these approaches are to be brought. The mindset of the students at the UG PG levels are to be changed in order to have critical social engagement. They will become a part of the social empowerment, moral empowerment, ethical empowerment. And apart from having excellence in their own field. That is the major idea behind this holistic and multidisciplinary approach to education. But the thing is, how can we promote this? What techniques have to be? What materials are to be brought? What methodologies are to be used, adapted, and and how can we change the mindset of the students? And how can we make them multidimensional, multi-skilled 21st century learners? These are to be thought about, and so that we'll get different ideas and we can execute them in terms of materials, in terms of learning, in terms of teaching. Next. Friends, and it also talks about this. What are the major reasons for holistic or multidisciplinary education? And it also believes that fourth industrial revolution and will begin, and if different wide variety of fields are integrated or collaborated together. So, and to bring out fourth industrial revolution, to promote 21st century skills, to lead the country into 21st century. Because still people are talking about, sometimes whenever I read newspaper, some of the classical texts or some of the newspaper from abroad, still India is considered a developing country, not developed country. So to make our India and to make in India and to make this possible, to make India a developed country. So it's very important to have holistic and multidisciplinary kind of approach to education system, particularly at the level of UG and PG, these two levels. Next, to move towards with holistic and multidisciplinary education with more arts and humanities. So you can find out to learn more science and to incorporate more vocational subjects to have a lot of practice and soft skills. Next, imaginative and flexible curriculum. This is going to be the very important concept, my friends. So the concept of multidisciplinary or holistic education would provide a number of means to have imaginative curriculum, flexible curriculum. We don't find only one particular curriculum to achieve these objectives. We need to have imaginative curriculum should be always flexible. Okay, not a kind of static aspects where one particular board gives you and where you need to change. Today, you see, IITs, NITs, or many, they have their own curriculum. They'll be able to change their own assessment system. And on par with the other universities, state or other universities, and today, once we observe at present IITs or NITs or IIMs, they are far better than the other institutions because but based on their imaginative and flexible curriculum, they have already started more than 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. But these institutions have to become role models for other institutions to make entire Indian education system holistic in nature, multidisciplinary in nature. So, at the usual level, to enable creative combinations of disciplines for study, this is very important. We need to combine, and you can see students, and now you can find out a number of combinations today. They are combining different fields into one. And as I told you, next students of mathematical or mechanical engineering, they are doing couple of projects in computer science, couple of projects in electronics, couple of projects in chemical engineering, and that interests them, that amuse them, that are very useful to the society, that they are actually giving priority. And next, to offer multiple entry and exit points, we have only students of mechanical engineering, they have only, as today you see, Indian education system only IES, there is a concept like Indian Engineering Services. Only some students with engineering they are eligible to apply for that. But whereas if you have many fields that are combined together, you will have multiple options, multiple exit points, and that is a major idea. Dual degrees. Next, creating new possibilities for lifelong learning, that is also another important aspect as a part of this multidisciplinary. For providing rigorous research-based specializations, and students they will have a lot of exposure. You can see students with mechanical engineering, they're coming out and they are doing MBA and IIM. So because they have interest towards that. So to have research-based specializations, there is a need of the art to introduce multidisciplinary approach to education to provide opportunities for multidisciplinary work in combining academia, government, and industry. And how are you going to how can we achieve these objectives? We need to bring out academia, experts of our institute, our national bodies, state bodies, central universities, IITs. These are connected with the government. These are connected with the local industries, no local or national or international industries. So that what will happen, we can promote and research projects at the UG level itself. That's what once we observe the present NEP, it talks about an integrated postgraduate diplomas or integrated PG programs, integrated PhD programs, and the MPhil has been removed from our aspects. You see, next, high quality of education. So, what will happen? The introduction of this holistic or multidisciplinary education would contribute high quality of education to we can improve our standards. You can see the quality of higher education today and the technological education or teacher education or vocational education, they are below 2025, not more than that, once we observe. So this the concept of holistic education, the concept of multidisciplinary education would promote quality of education in India, quality of higher education, which is very important. Free and compulsory education, the ones we observe in Indian context, it is and more than 50 and across India. But with regard to higher education, technical education, vocational education, the quality is low. We can find only 20 to 30% of the percentage of our youngsters they are going for post graduation and they started stopping their education at the graduation level. This has to be changed. So there is a requirement for promoting quality in higher education, and this is possible. And if we adapt holistic education, multidisciplinary education, and the quality levels will be improved according to NEP. Through the establishment of large multidisciplinary universities, yes, there is a requirement for having combinations of multi fields, the process of studying multi fields together. And there is a requirement for starting these universities, these colleges to protect flexibility in curriculum, yes. And if we bring out this multidisciplinary education or holistic education, there will be flexibility. Today, you see, and it's a known fact to most of the Indians, most of the Indian experts. And the concept of technical education is so popular in India. The concept of Indian education is so popular. The concept of medical education is so popular because that is flexible, that is popular, that is very useful. But the study of higher education at the arts level, music, language, or arts, sociology, or philosophy, or political science, or public administration, these are very low. And how can we improve that? How can we promote good standards? Only through multidisciplinary, based on the interests, based on the interests of the learners, of our UG and PG learners, to offer novel and engaging courses, because the courses that have creativity, that provide a lot of engagement for the learners. This is very important. To rigorous specializations in subjects and or subjects, to promote faculty and institutional autonomy. Yes, very wonderful aspects. Yes, every institution should have a lot of autonomy. There is a need for institutional autonomy and faculty kind of autonomy, teacher autonomy, learner autonomy. Then only it is possible to promote multidisciplinary approach and holistic education in India. Remember that. So it talks about a lot of theoretical aspects, but it is only possible if teachers have autonomy, if learners have autonomy, if the institutions have autonomy. So learner autonomy, institutional autonomy, teacher autonomy are to be given priority to have and to achieve the goals of this multidisciplinary education. Next, to promote faculty institutional autonomy in setting curriculum. Yes, they should have their own autonomy to set up their own curriculum, their own materials. And for promoting innovative pedagogy, yes, there is also a requirement based on the changes. Now you can see, and due to this post COVID-19, most of the Indian experts and and faculties from IITs, NITs, they have started a lot of courses through NPTEL and through Coursera. They have started learning a number of courses, number of diplomas, number of post graduations, and through these online courses. So faculty should have, and they should change their own pedagogy, their own methods of teaching, methods and approaches to teaching, and assessment ways or teaching learning styles according to the current needs of the learners in the UG and PG. Multidisciplinary subjects and languages. These is also another important feature. Departments in languages, sciences, other subjects are needed for multidisciplinary education. So to have multidisciplinary education, there is a requirement for combining these fields. And when we combine these fields, what is going to happen? We can stimulate, we can create interest towards our Indian education system. We can create Indian education environment among the students, and to strengthen our own higher education institution. This is very important today. Once we observe our higher education institutions, and once we read some of the rankings, and we are not there, only few institutions are in the world rankings. This needs to be changed. When we change ourselves, that's what. Next, credits to be given for both through ODL, open distance learning mode, and in-class mode at the HEL. And due to this COVID-19, students should have the flexibility to listen to the classes, staying at home, or coming to the classes, online classes or offline classes, and they should be given the degrees, certificates. And we need to bring out a lot of changes. Recently, you can see a wonderful initiation was made by the UGC. Students have multidisciplinary kind of subject. They can study, they can do 2 or 3 degrees apart from doing one regular course. Wonderful aspects. This is what these are the what ways of and achieving the aims of holistic and multidisciplinary approaches. Global citizenship education, friends, and this is another important aspects. What is very important today to the learners? Learners have to be global. Learning became global, and learners have become global learners now. And you can see once they start finishing their graduation, and they are ready to work across the globe. So the concept of multidisciplinary approach, the concept of holistic approach would provide children, would provide learners, our UG and PG learners, global citizens through. And and we need to include career-based courses, projects in the areas of community engagement and service, environmental education, value-based education. These are very important so that, and we can promote global citizenship education. Indirectly, we can promote holistic education. Environment education for management and biological resources. This is very important today, and due to the problem, because these are the very immediate problems of the world. And value-based education. This is also very important. Values, ethical, moral, spiritual values of the students, of learners are degrading today, and these are to be improved through this. And these and to be interconnected to contemporary global changes. Yes, we need to connect whatever we see. We can find out that process of interconnection of contemporary global challenges when we read sciences, when we read technological subjects like mathematics or engineering or medicine. But this should be also interconnected when we read arts, languages. That is very important. To become aware of and understand global issues, to become active promoters of more peaceful, tolerant, and inclusive, and secure and sustainable society. This is very important. And we need to provide a number of, this is possible through providing a number of internships, project works through local industry or business or artist or craft persons. There is a need for promoting research internship from the class. You can see, and at the school level we are giving, and the teachers started providing a number of projects to the students, and there is a need to change the number of and the style of giving projects, the style of assessment, and these are to be changed. And with regard to the faculty or researcher, because there is a requirement for promoting a research attitude at a very young stage, and it indirectly promotes quality education and multidisciplinary education, and it would indirectly promote our Indian education system as. Next, UG programs. Yes, friends, this is possible. Holistic and multidisciplinary approach to education, which can be possible by bringing out these changes. And previously, we did not have. And you can see, as I told in the Times of India, and a couple of reports, and they came out, and nearly 25% of the students from IITs and NITs, they are dropping in the middle. They are talented, and they are from maybe regional medium background called Odia or Telugu or some other languages, but they are living their engineering at IITs, coming down, and they are doing ordinary degrees. So present NEP 2020 and has brought a number of changes. These changes would provide a number of opportunities to the learners to have holistic education, multidisciplinary education. Students with only 1 year, see, once you observe, if they are able to finish only 1 year, they will have a certificate. 2 years, a diploma. 3 years, they are going to have a degree. And 4 years, they will have the holistic and multidisciplinary kind of approach to learning. So this is going to have and provide opportunities to have focus on both major and minor choices of the students. And they've also made another important change, academic bank of credits. This is another important revolution that is brought from NEP 2020 with regard to assessment. Very, very important. ABC shall be established. Every institution should create this ABC. And what are you going to do with this? To digitally store the academic credits earned from various recognized higher education institutions. It's very important. It's a need of the hour. Like as we have for faculty and recruitment, like API. In the same way, students should have ABC according to NEP 2020. So this would strengthen the CV of the students, and once they finish graduation or post graduation, to award the degrees from HEI, higher education institutions, by taking into account credits earned. And master programs, friends, it also talks about a number of innovative changes to bring out holistic education. And the higher education institutions will have the flexibility to offer different designs instead of promoting traditional courses like MA or MTech or something only traditional courses, MTech in chemical engineering, MTech in SOSO, and they have started combining two, three fields together. There may be a 2 degree program, 2 year program with second year devoted entirely to research. Or for students completing 4 year bachelor degree with research, they could be 1 year's master degree. And there may be an integrated 5 year bachelor or master degree program, like already these are in place for the past 15 or 20 years ago. Like undertaking a PhD shall require either a master degree or 4 years bachelor degree. MPhil, already as you know, even I did my MPhil, but which is not credited today. That's what. And more public universities, model public universities, and it also makes another important recommendation to bring out holistic education. multidisciplinary education only through it believes that model public universities are the need of the hour. These are to be established, and there is a requirement for encouragement of for the establishment of these model public universities. This is very important. Today, you see the number of universities in the world. You can see Japan, very small country. You can find more than nearly 4 to 5 thousand universities in Japan. But how many universities do we have in India? And once we check the universities in other countries, India with more than 130 crores of population, more than 60% of youth in Indian context, we are not able to, most of our Indian youth, UG and PG, at the PG level are not able to continue their education, only not having sufficient universities. So there is a, and hence the committee, the NEP recommended for establishment of this model public universities so that we can promote multidisciplinary education, holistic education. Higher education is free and compulsory, which becomes a slogan maybe very near, very early, and if the government continues. And multidisciplinary education, research universities for highest standards. So to promote highest standards, there is a requirement for model public universities. Model public universities for this and on par with IITs. So on par with, so these model public universities are to be established based on taking a number of inputs from the experts from IITs, IIMs, and popular institutions of India, and to be set up and to attain the highest global standards in quality education. Very, very important, because one of the major important reason as a student of education, as a student of higher education, and uh, I can say that in India, we don't have more than 1,000 universities still, and you can observe many universities in many countries, outside countries. You can find thousands of universities. Based on our population, there is easily, we need to have at least 5,000 universities in India. But government should look, and we need to make our, and we can make our education holistic or multidisciplinary only we have a number of universities. That's what it talks about. There is a requirement. It is not possible to start the government universities all the time. Hence it recommended for an establishment of model public universities in order to have holistic education, in order to have multidisciplinary education. Okay. Next, and it also makes and a number of to promote this the aims of holistic or multidisciplinary education. It talks about and setting up startup incubation centers. Today, you see, friends, most of the multinational companies that are there in the world, 90% of the companies are in India, like places like Bangalore or places like Hyderabad, places like Amaravati. You can find places like Bombay and Delhi. You can find most of the multinational companies, most of the startup incubation centers. They are in Indian context, and we need to have 100% of these centers have to be set up. Technology developmental centers. These are like Google, like Yahoo, like YouTube, like Facebook, like Flipkart, like Amazon, and you need to have all these. There is a requirement for setting up of these aspects, and different companies will come out only when we have holistic education and multidisciplinary kind of education. That's what the new government, that's what the new document, new education policy thinks about, and and request all the experts of Indian Constitution, Indian higher education system, and at the UG and PG level to implement. And interdisciplinary research, including humanities, social sciences research, are to be incorporated, are to be implemented to lead to undertake research into scenario of epidemics and pandemics. You see, and the number of epidemics that are coming and creating a number of problems. How can we solve these aspects? It is only possible when we make our studies into, that is, when we connect our knowledge with the current needs and problems. It is only possible through multidisciplinary education. To develop specific hand-holding mechanism, competitions for promoting innovation among student communities. This is also very important. To have a vibrant research and innovation culture across higher education research labs, other research organization through national research funds. So this is what these are what various aspects that are discussed through our document, New Education Policy 2020. So, but the major important problem with regard to this is how can we implement all these aspects? So, the questions are going to be what kind of materials are to be brought to bring out these changes to achieve the objectives of multidisciplinary or holistic education, and what kind of pedagogical aspects are to be brought out, what kind of techniques, what kind of pedagogical tools, what kind of methods, what kind of innovative teaching learning strategies are to be brought out to bring out these aspects. How can we change our materials, and how can we change the mindset of our learners at the UGPG levels? These are different questions, and the major responsibility is in the hands of the teachers, and it is in the hands of the designers, and who are going to bring out changes in teaching, changes in assessment, changes in learning. That is what I want to convey. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you for the wonderful session. So all of us are enlightened with your wonderful lecture. So now I request our colleagues to ask any questions. Please ask any questions.
Sir, am I audible?
Sir, we are audible?
Sir, speaker is having some problem. I think you're not checking.
Venkanna sir, are we audible? Venkanna sir.
Sir, you are not audible, sir.
Dr. Venkanna.
Yes, sir. Tell me, sir.
Sir, వినిపిస్తుందా?
Sir, sir.
Sir, we have some questions.
Yes, sir. Yes. Yeah, I am hearing. I can listen to you.
Holistic approach actually talks about integrating economics, social, welfare schemes and sports activities in a person's learning skill.
Yes.
Grading system also evolved the same way, or are we still grading the same way?
No. We need to make interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary kind of aspect. We need to have a multidisciplinary kind of approach in terms of assessment. We should not only give priority for the one field, and there is a requirement to integrate different fields in terms of both learning and assessment. So there is a requirement to have changes in terms of learning and assessment. How to improve social responsibility among students? Yes. So social responsibility among students, that's what we can. Students of engineering should be provided certain topics called certain fields like ethical vocational development, moral development, and or maybe they are introduced to certain literatures, or maybe certain literary aspects, introducing certain classical texts, and promoting ideas about the Indian experts, Indian philosophers, or the popular thinkers, and who served the country, who brought a number of changes in the society. Based on that, you can. So that is what we need to incorporate the technology with the language fields. Yes, sir. Any other questions?
Dr. Venkanna, please look at the chat box. Dr. Venkanna?
You can put your question through chat box so that I can give you a response. Human values are all included in the NIP. Yes. There is a requirement for inculcating human values among the students. That is also incorporated.
So can you hear us, sir?
How much of the credits are to be reserved for the top tasks? And is any process is in place in India? No. That is what it talks about. To have multidisciplinary education, to have holistic education, this what could be the percentage of the credits are to be given? This has to be decided by the institution itself. The institution, see, today every NIT, IIT or IIM, and they have their own system of providing credits to the students. They should have their own system for the process of providing teaching, for the process of evaluation. They are suggested in general, but specific credits have to be given to the students that has to be decided by the institution, by the department itself. That is very important. Yes. Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Pular, sir. We have few courses on sociology, professional ethics courses right now. Yes. These courses provide opportunities to the students of technology, to the students of engineering, to have a lot of emotional development, social development, ethical development. Yes. Yes, and correct, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your response. Yes, it is required. His emotional intelligence is very important today. So today you see, and emotional intelligence, which becomes an important aspect to the students of engineering or technical students, is today you see. Let me give you one practical example. Today, once we observe our history, many of the students with engineering or technical students, they are able to commit suicide in India. But you don't find any students of art, they are able to commit suicide. No, because they are emotionally, because they will be able to study philosophy or sociology or ethics or our moral or cultural values as part of their studies. But students of technology, they are more into the process of learning a lot of other issues. If they have certain failure and they are not able to and accept that kind of failure, and they some of them and a few of them you see, and they commit suicide and they do something else. But whereas when you think of the students of arts, they will have more emotional intelligence. You don't find a number of suicides or a number of and different decisions that are taken by the students, and they accept both pain and pleasure in the same way. They will have emotional balance. That is what, as our director sir said, there are courses on sociology. The introduction of social courses on sociology to the students of uh, to the students of mechanical engineering or electronics engineering would provide an opportunity to have emotional intelligence for them. This is what a new change, that the inclusion of these courses directly indirectly talk about promoting moral development, emotional development, ethical development among the students. That I feel, to do all this we need to increase the duration of the program. Yes, yes, it is required, but there is a need. See, it is not possible to improve because our education system is time bound, maybe semester wise kind of aspect. It is not just only, and we cannot promote values or ethical or moral values only by promoting, by increasing our duration. No, and the active engagement of the teacher and the teacher with the students, the active engagement of the learners and students of UG and PG with the in the society, in the cultural development, in the social development, in the moral development, in the constitutional development, the kind of practical exposure that they get and they will have, and emotional development, it is not going to be just duration of the program. No. Okay, that is what my major opinion. Active learning must happen in every course. Am I correct? Yes, there is an active engagement is required. If that is what multidisciplinary approach or holistic approach believes in. Collaboration. What is meant by collaboration? Active engagement. Active engagement of the learner with other learners, with the teachers, with the society, and with the, because he not only becomes an active participant in the core field that he selects, and he also gives a priority for, and he also becomes an active part in other fields, and he makes active participation, minimal active participation in other fields too. That is what it talks about. Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, Director Sir. Thank you for inviting me to this lecture, and thank you for having a wonderful interaction. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you.